Mike's on.
All right, let me finish up on these basketball calls, then we'll get into some baseball. Yanks will get in action finally with this weather. Weather's just atrocious. Even this morning, went out and played golf. First 9 holes played in an absolute monsoon. I mean, it poured. Soaked. Played the entire time. Last 9 played not in the sun, but in the. At least it wasn't raining anymore. But boy, the weather's just abominable. It just never quits. It just rains all the time. I mean, absolutely all the time. So Gray against Cashner tonight, and then the Cubbies and the Mets after the Mets lost last night. Chatwood against Wheeler. So we'll get to that too. Maybe we'll pop Eddie up. Eddie, he's with the Mets. They finally let him go with the Mets, right? If the Mets go over the Verrazano, Eddie's not allowed to go, right?
They let him go to City Field.
That's it. If the Mets go over the GW, Eddie's not allowed to go. That's too far. That's it. I think if the Mets go to Yankee Stadium, Eddie's not even allowed to go. That's too far.
I think he lives close to the Yankee Stadium, too.
Yeah, I think he's not allowed. I think it's too far. I think he's only allowed to go to City Field. I don't think he's allowed to go on the road. So even if they go to Yankee, not happening. That's a trip. He's not allowed to go there. Rob in Yorktown, what's up, Rob?
Mike, what's going on?
What's happening?
Mike, listen, I got a question about all the sports kind of at one time. Listen, it's about the call last night, too. With sports gambling coming to this country in the very near future, I would imagine the entire country is going to be able to bet on sports legally, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Within a number of years. I mean, it might be state by state, like New Jersey and Delaware are going to be very quick.
Right.
Some states like California might be years away, but yes.
Right, but within the next 10 to 15 years.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
With that said, maybe not regular season, but between the NFL blown calls, the basketball blown calls, do you foresee a time where they use video, strictly video, to ref the games? We're talking millions of dollars changing hands on one call, like the LeBron call last night. So do you see them going to strictly video to referee or umpire or even referee football games?
Yeah, I think there will be more rather than less. I think they will use. I think they will use late. I think actually there will be a day
when it's all video.
Well, where there is a machine that calls balls and strikes.
Really?
Yeah, I believe you'll actually be in the box, and the plate will go green for a ball, and it'll go red for a strike.
Now, honestly, with football, do you see, like, let's say the champion, the AFC, NFC games, the Super Bowl, they go strictly to say 25, 30 cameras, and each call that the ref makes is reviewed, and the game is played under those reviews.
Eventually, I think the technology will get to a point where it will overrun the entire sport, and especially as the gambling creates more of a scrutiny. There will be a North Korea summit on June 12th. I'm watching that right now. So that will be on June the 12th. Eddie going to that, you think? No, he's not going to that. No. They don't send Eddie there. I don't think so. All right. Yankee lineup: Gaudy, Judge Bird, Stanton, Didi Hicks, Walker, Romine, Torres, same as last night with Gray on the mound. I'll give you the Mets in a minute. Matt and Rockland, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good, what's happening?
I really have to say, man, the NBA really got it wrong. I feel like in all the other sports, when there's a call on the field with a foul or a possession, it's basically the call on the field stands. I don't understand why in the NBA you're allowed to go back and change it. Now, the announcers yesterday had said when the play had happened, in the last 2 minutes of the game, the defender's allowed to be in that dotted area. I don't understand why they're going back and reviewing it if under 2 minutes they're allowed to be in that designated area. For them to change the whole complexity of the series on such a judgment call, like you said, it's a gray area thing. It's just
no. He has
crazy.
to be outside the. I mean, I don't know what you're alluding to. I mean, but as long as he's not inside the dotted line, it is a legal. He cannot make contact there. If he does, it's not legal. But he can at that play though. Once it doesn't come in, he can. The change in the rule was not that. The change in the rule was they were allowed to, after they check and he is in legal guarding position, they can then check whether or not he is actually in legal guarding position from the block charge stipulation. So they go back to look and see if he is on the right part of the court, and then they go to whether he's in legal block charge position. Is he in position to take the charge or not? And that's something they put in recently. Robin Patchog, what's up, Rob?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you?
Good, what's happening?
Sick from the game last night, and not even a Cavs fan. It's disappointing because you think about had the Cavs won that game, that would have been one of the transcendent performances in sports history, and to see LeBron get robbed of that, it's incredible. I mean, there's no words for it. But
I agree with that. That would have been regarded as, and I think the loss, and specifically the overtime, which he didn't impact overly. That took away from the performance to the point where I would no longer call it one of the 3 greatest performances ever in finals history, which I would have if the game had ended in regulation. So I think that did change things dramatically. I really believe that. Danny in Jersey City, what's up, Danny?
Hey, Mike, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Just a quick point that is kind of confusing because it's like the NBA, the head of the officiating, these guys can't get their facts straight. One guy says, well, they overturned the call because they deemed that LeBron was not in a legal guarding position. But they said his feet were down, but he was sliding and his body was not in the right. So what is the official rule? I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, why? I understand if you're going to overturn the call, but what is the
It is a judgment.
Rule?
It is a judgment. He has to have his feet set, which he did. He is allowed to be moving his body. It's a judgment call. That's what it is. It is a judgment call. You had Javi, who is considered, hands down, the best official of the last 20 years. On TV, call it a charge. You heard him call it a charge last night.
But then they brought the other guy in on one
right, of course. What is he going to do? He's got to back up the officials after the game. I mean, is he working for the league? He's going to back up the call. At that point, he's not going to throw him under the bus, say the call was wrong. He's not going to do it. Anthony and Nanuet. What's up, Anthony?
How you doing, Mike? Thanks for taking the call.
What's happening?
Hey, a couple things on the game real quick, and if I could just touch on sports betting as well, if I could. The couple things is, number one, the antics that you were talking about with Golden State last night. I don't know if you saw, with like a minute left in the game, I think it was Green that was doing it, was pumping his chest when Cleveland was at the line. I mean, there's still a minute left in the game. You don't got to do that while the guy's on the foul line trying to shoot his shot. The game's not over yet. Wait for it to be over.
Green is an instigator. He looks to start trouble the entire game.
He's good at it, let me tell you.
Yeah, he is. And Rodman was the same way, a little more goofy. Because sometimes
when Rodman did it. You're right.
Because sometimes Rodman did bizarre things to his own team, and he had bizarre antics. But Green is trying to do a Rodman, I think, a little bit, but
impersonation.
But they're mouthy. They pose after they make threes. They even the way Curry treated the three at the half, I mean, I thought was ridiculous. The game wasn't over. It was halftime. And I mean, the pointing, the 1, 2, 3 countdown, the whole thing. I just think it was way over the top. Really over the top. John at Breezy Point. What's up, John?
Hi, Mike.
Yes,
Mike, I go back to Combe Ives, Van Arsdale.
Yeah.
And so, this crap that you hear, if you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm going to watch it. I love basketball, but what we're subjected to, that call last night, the 0 for 27 3-pointers, it's sad. It really is sad what it's gotten to. And as far as J.R. Smith goes,
that was a hell of a game last night, though. You got to admit, that was a hell of a game.
Yeah, but I mean the call. I mean,
oh, terrible. It was terrible.
But as far as J.R. Smith goes, as far as boneheaded moves, the most egregious one that comes to mind to me is Jim Marshall running the wrong way. That's the only thing you can compare it to.
Well, there's been a couple, obviously, through the years, but that was That was one of them. That's going back a long way, but that was one of them.
And probably didn't affect the game as this did. But another thing,
listen,
Mike,
he thought they were winning.
I'm so tired of hearing about Michael Jordan. The guy palmed the ball just about every single time he handled the ball, and you never, since he's played, that call is non-existent. So. To compare complain about LeBron James getting a few traveling calls.
Oh, they all do. I mean, listen, Bird did, Magic did. They all great players get calls. I don't care about that. But
Michael Jordan palmed the ball every single.
Well, they all walk. They all palm the ball. I agree. They don't play. That stuff goes in the NBA. Unfortunately, it does. It just does. Tim in Morristown. What's up, Tim?
Yeah, hi, Mike.
Yeah,
I used to like watching Golden State a couple of years ago, but you're onto it last year. They're just too cocky now. And watching Green, watching Curry, what I didn't like about it too is at the end of the game with about 40 or 50 seconds left, or whatever it was, 30 seconds left, Curry did not have to go in and make that layup. I mean, I thought LeBron was going to punch him out because. You don't need to score the layup there. The game's over. Dribble it out like they usually do and let the clock tick down. I mean, this team is way too cocky now, and the fans are stupid. You don't boo J.R. Smith. It was an accidental play. The fans are dumb for booing him. That was a dumb thing. And the fans are so brainwashed out there. They're booing J.R. Smith for tripping and sliding on a wet court. I mean, give me a break. It's stupid.
Yeah, listen, he didn't try to hurt Thompson. You're absolutely right. That's just a typical thing, though, when it happens. Ed in Mohegan, what's up, Ed?
Hey, Mike, what do you say?
What's happening?
All right, listen, if the Warriors win this series in 4 or 5 games, it's not going to matter. But if the Warriors win this series in 6 and especially 7 games, do you think that call is just so horrible that it's going to taint the series for them?
Yeah, I think if it goes that far, yes, that will leave people with a. I think that I do think so, yes, but only if it goes that far. John in West Haven, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. What's happening?
I just wanted to get your opinion as to why LeBron wasn't down on the block on the free throw last night, where J.R. Smith was.
I don't have a reason why LeBron wasn't on there unless he just felt that he wanted to be able to freelance defensively. Is the only thing I can think of. If now everyone knows what's going to happen. If the ball goes in, so I don't really have a reason why he wasn't on a block. But I mean, what's the difference? He got the offensive rebound anyway.
Yeah, and do you think that even in a losing effort, if Cleveland loses the series, LeBron would have a chance to still win the MVP?
No, I don't think they will. Listen, they didn't give it to him last time when he clearly was the best player by a mile. And the reason why is they don't like to give it to losing players anymore because they have so much that they want to do from a standpoint of media and also marketing that they want to come from a winning team. They want it to be a positive thing. So they don't like to pick losing players anymore. Back after this.